I moved to Australia to study abroad. Let's talk about it. Hey, you guys, I am Shatanshi. I'm currently pursuing a bachelor's in biomedical science. I'm majoring in medical biotechnology, currently in my second year. Yep, and I'm in Melbourne. So, my last video has been getting a lot of attention. A lot of you guys have been reaching out to me personally as well as in my comment sections, and I really appreciate it. And I thought, why not make another video going a little into depth about my experience, because that's what I've been getting asked about the most, about my experience in my transition from high school to college life. Also, by the way, yeah, this is a new addition to my videos. I have a mic now. I hope my audios are a little better. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the updates, and I hope you guys like this video. Do share it with your friends. Ask me any questions you want in the comment section, and share your journey as well. If you are an international student or if you're planning to study abroad, share your experiences in the comment section, because somebody always feels heard when they're reading those comments. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about me in high school and my experience when I was applying to colleges abroad. The first question I get asked by a few people is how I planned to choose Australia as the country where I wanted to study. To be very honest, this was a very I would say natural thing for me. I wasn't one of those people who always had a country in mind. And initially, I was going to apply to the US, Australia, and as well as Canada. Personally, I knew I wanted to study abroad because the Indian education system, like, I respect it, but it's not for me. Like, I cannot survive it. So, yeah, that was pretty much clear for me that I want to study abroad. And these were the three places I was going to look at. The more that I got into it and the more I talked to people, I realized that I really don't want to study in the US for sure. Nothing against the country. The sort of environment that I was looking for was not exactly what I was going to get there, if that makes sense. I had a few people who had already been going to Australia to pursue their studies, and it just seemed like a good way to have connections nearby as well. That's really important when you're studying abroad. And yeah, I think it just worked out. I don't know if anybody else, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are currently in high school in 11th and 12th are going through this. I remember being in high school, and I don't know why. This was like a really stupid thought, but I just felt like obviously I wasn't doing enough. And there's always so many self-esteem issues when you're applying for college, because you're always thinking, am I good enough? And when I was applying, I just expected rejections. I just expected that no college is gonna get back to me, but every college I applied to, I did get accepted by. One thing I do regret is not looking at more scholarship options, and I cannot reiterate on this. Please do that, because I did not. And that's one thing that I just want to go back and just tell my younger self. But yeah, that's one lesson for you guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you guys a bit of perspective so that you can understand my background in high school. So I was in the IB board, which is International Baccalaureate, and it's a different board. A lot of people haven't heard of it. You can't really compare it to CBSE and ICSE, but it's a board that usually students take if they want to study abroad. So my process might be a little different from you guys in 11th and 12th, but marks matter, obviously. But at the same time, I would recommend focus on your extracurriculars and just try to have a little more like volunteering opportunities, or just something that shows that you're providing back to the community. So I'm talking about Australia specifically. So there's academics, there's extracurriculars, there's also IELTS, or you can give any language exam to show that you're passing the criteria required to actually get your visa. I have gone through some technical things in my past videos. I'm going to try putting it up somewhere here. But moving on, let's talk about college life, college experience, a little more in depth this time. So, someone had asked me, how is college life overall? Let's do an honest review right now. So, let me give you guys a little bit of background as to my situation and how I traveled to Melbourne, because it was a roller coaster ride. So, my board exam results, they don't really align with the Australian intake system. Australia, in most colleges, you can either go into the July intake or you can do the Feb intake. And I had decided to do the July intake. And my board exam results came out on the 6th of July, and that's literally the first day of university. Because I'm doing a different board, it just did not align. And so technically, I had no idea whether I had gotten into the college because it was still an unconditional offer. Yeah, I don't know how I went through that, but luckily my board exam results came and then my visa was granted within like 30 minutes. And yeah, we booked the tickets. I literally had no time to process anything. We booked the tickets, and within a week, I had to pack my entire life into a suitcase and leave for Melbourne. And I did miss like 2 weeks of actual college. So I missed orientation week and then I missed 2 actual weeks of college. So I was really behind. I had no friends. I hadn't met anybody because you usually meet people during orientation week when you're, signing up for clubs. And I was just overwhelmed. I didn't have a place to live and we were looking for houses. So all of that was happening. What I personally did was take my first trimester to figure out my course, talk to some professors, just understand, how to network, how to make friends. And yeah, ever since 2024 started, I've been involved in clubs, I've been involved in campus activities. So the first time that I landed, I was like, there's literally no campus life. What am I doing here? I was having a whole crisis. Once I gave it some time, once I actively was trying to get myself involved in campus activities, I feel like I kind of got lost in my own point. But what I meant to say was that even though, even if you have an experience just like I did, which was very slow and daunting at the beginning, things do work out. All you have to do is actively get yourself involved and talk to people. Yeah, just be unhinged. If you did something embarrassing, no one's gonna remember you, so it's all chill. Like, don't worry. What are the job opportunities and earnings? There were two types of questions that were asked to me. One was about part-time jobs and one was about actual jobs. Now, the actual jobs, that depends on what course you're pursuing, so I can probably answer those questions in the comments if you have any specific questions. I don't know how many of you guys actually follow me for my biomedical science content, so if you guys want a video about that, make sure to comment down below and I would happily do one. Obviously, I completely understand why the number of DMs I've been getting about part-time opportunities are so many, because as an international student, fees is expensive. At the same time, obviously, a lot of students try to make up for their daily expenses by working as much as they can. Now, the good thing about my university, something that I like, is that they have a job portal where you can actually apply for casual jobs, which makes the process really easy and convenient. At the same time, the easiest way to actually get jobs is print out your resume and just go around handing it out to random stores, the grocery stores or fast food stores, just literally anything that's near your house. And the best part about working a casual job in Australia is that Australia has one of the highest minimum wages. Someone asked me how expensive is the living. The main issue is the housing crisis. Living in Melbourne, let me talk about that right now. Even in Australia, I've heard from other people, is so expensive right now. Like, I've seen people line up for inspections for like a really bad house. And there's rarely people who get lucky and, they get a house that's like $600 per month. Make sure that you inspect and you completely go through your accommodation and the pros and cons. Yeah, just don't regret your decision, because moving is a waste of time. You don't want to be moving 2 times, 3 times in like 6 months, 8 months. Just get a good house, and even though it's a little on the expensive side, make sure that the pros outweigh the cons. Maybe it's closer to university, so it's still fine if it's a little expensive. You're saving costs on transportation. So just weigh your options and make an educated decision based on that. Where do you prefer staying, city or suburb? Like, I always had this vision that I want to live somewhere that's very quiet, has a lot of parks, and I can just go for a run anytime I want or just go to the beach. Yeah, that's why I really prefer the suburbs. I feel like I can spend a few hours in the city, but personally, the city is like too overstimulating for me. Like, there's so much going on, and it's kind of similar to Mumbai in a lot of ways. But if you like the busy lifestyle, and if you're like more of like a social person who loves going out and needs to do something every day, I would recommend living in the city. Most places in the city, I would say, what I've seen observed is that you pay a particular price, but the room is so small, it's literally like a shoebox. So again, I would say assess your options and make the right decision, whatever suits you guys. One specific question I was asked was skills to have to secure part time jobs. I know in India, people aren't really big on working as teenagers, so it's really hard to have any job experience. You should have like volunteering experience. Maybe you volunteered at like an animal shelter or an NGO, any sort of volunteering experience, so that you can at least show your soft skills when you're looking for part-time jobs, because it's a little challenging at first to get a job. Now we come to the last part of the video, where we're gonna talk about the pros and cons. Just right off the top of my head, pros, I would say safety first. This is kind of bittersweet because I am so grateful for how safe I can feel walking with my friends at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Just not have to worry about men for once and worry about animals. Yeah, animals are scary in Australia, you guys. Nobody asked, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I hate possums, and I see them all the time, and it bothers me a lot. I hate their like furry little. There's literally no pollution. Like, the air quality is so good. I just felt sick once in like the 1 year I've been there. Amazing people as well. As of now, I would say Australians just tend to be really good at small talk. Another pro, I would say, this might be subjective, but there are a lot of Indians. So even if you're feeling lost, you can relate to some other people, because it's easier to relate to Indians abroad because they're kind of going through the same thing as you. Cons, expensive, obviously. You also might feel homesick, which again, I talked about. Make a lot of Indian food. That solves my homesickness all the time. 10 on 10 would recommend that. Please think about the fact that Australia is in the southern hemisphere. That means that we have opposite seasons. So when it's summer in India, it's winter in Australia. So many people cannot process, but it is what it is. It is my summer vacation right now because it's like 40 degrees in Australia right now. So just think about the fact that your holidays are going to be the exact opposite. I hope this helped you guys feel a little reassured that it's gonna be all right. Yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for all the love and support these past few videos. I will see you guys in the next one.